Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon, or again, as I should say, Tim Dillon and Joe Rogan. We're at the Tim Dillon show right now, but it is in the JRE studio. Right now, the gentlemen are talking about DEI and sometimes being so alerted to all the wokeness that you start to see the DEI and things like that in places where it's not really there. Now, what Joe's talking about is Miss France. If you haven't heard about Miss France, a certain woman won, and people feel like some other lady should have won, and the whole DEI conversation comes in there, and then they start talking about pilots, and I agree with them on pilots. Oh, man. But we're going to get into this whole thing. Then I'm going to show you a clip from Tucker Carlson. But before that, I'm going to show you the whole Miss France situation as well, so you can get a good feel for what actually went on, get a good opinion going in your own mind. And then Tucker Carlson talking about a DEI pilot failure, massive failure. Let's go.
Have you seen the controversy about Miss France?
No.
Okay.
Is it a dude?
No. No. Luckily, right?
Well, I'm shocked it's not.
I could see how you'd be upset.
Yeah.
On that one.
Sure.
But no, it's a black lady.
Oh,
and
they're
comparing. Yep. And they're comparing her to these other women. The problem is she's fucking beautiful.
Right. Is she not as hot as Brigitte Macron?
She's really beautiful. And they're trying to find photos of her where she's crying or some weird angle.
And is it just racism? They're just pissed?
I think it's a thing where you're pushing back against DEI so much that you see it even in places where you go,
where it's not there.
Well, what is a beauty pageant in the first place, right? There's a bunch of things they judge you on. They judge you on, I think you have to give a speech, right?
Right.
You have interests, you have skills.
Yes.
There's a bunch of different things. And then it's what you look like.
Right.
So
the question and answer portion.
If you have all those things, but you look like shit, I get it, because it's supposed to be a beauty pageant. I get it. But if you have those things and you're beautiful and you're upset because it doesn't represent France because it's white, well, a lot of black people live in France. France is not really a completely white country. There's citizens of France.
If DEI is to exist, let's have it in beauty pageants.
Well, see what this
I don't want it in the cockpit of
controversy being that she's 34.
Well, that is disgusting.
But
she's too old?
They changed the age 2 years ago to allow women over 24
Well,
years
that is,
old.
by the way, that is disgusting.
Okay,
she's 34 years old. It's disgusting.
That's crazy. Show what she looks like.
I just typed in Miss France, and that's all it comes
Just give me some images of what she looks like. She's
very pretty.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
And if you see her on stage, she looks fantastic. If you see her when she won, the idea that this lady is not capable of winning a beauty pageant anywhere in the world is crazy. If you're just judging on beauty, there's different types of beauty. There's redheaded, white, freckle beauty. There's Brazilian, hot, tan beauty. There's Asian beauty. There's all kinds of different beauty. That woman's f***ing beautiful.
It's reactionary stuff where people are just angry at this concept.
Well, the thing is, there have been a bunch of instances of people winning these contests that were ridiculous. Some of them that were men. Some of them were obese. Some of them that weren't. And I could see pushing, but now it's like people are looking to push back wherever they can.
Because people tend to, become accustomed to outrage.
They're looking to be outraged, but this is one where you're like, come on.
No, it's enough.
You don't think that lady could win? That's crazy.
She should. Yeah,
she can win, but
not at 34.
But she's still hot.
No, she's still hot.
Why is there an age limit? By 34, you should have a kid. You should have your shit together, not be in a beauty pageant. I guess you can see that argument.
I mean, at 34 years old, I think
you've only got 4 years left of kids.
As a woman at 34 years old, I think you should be put in a facility.
Like a horse.
Yeah. So I think that's what the problem is. I think this woman still being out there.
Women are hot pretty late these days.
No, they
can stay hot for a long time.
You made a great point about it's just people looking to be upset about things. And like I said, DEI and a beauty pageant, I get it. It is what it is, whatever.
Yeah, but
that's not DEI. But even if there was an example of DEI bothers me. If they're like, hey, we want diverse pilots. And you go, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? Beauty pageants are somewhat meaningless, even though they're not completely meaningless. I'm scared when they're like, we need diverse surgeons. And I go, no. Right. You need good surgeons.
Only.
You need good surgeons.
Yeah.
I don't care what my surgeon looks like if they're good. I've never in my life said, I want an Irish surgeon.
Yeah.
I'm Irish. My grandfather came from Ireland. I've never said, what would be good if a guy named Malachi or Rory operated on me if I needed surgery.
I like a guy with men in his last name. Gettleman.
Yeah, I want a Jew, I want a Pakistani, or an Asian. That's it. I don't really want a fun surgeon.
No. You want them.
I don't want like a wordsmith.
Right.
I want like we had a bad flight. Me and Sam Talent, we left Amsterdam, 35 minutes. It was a private plane going to Luton, which is an airport near London. Not in London, but near it. And the pilot said, it's a little windy in London. 30 of the 35 minutes were absolutely fine. When we hit about 3,000 feet, something happened. And it was not good. We got about 700 feet, and we're like, me and Sam Talent are like, where the fuck's the runway? To the right, we saw the runway perpendicular to the plane. Not good. Ooh. The pilot tried to, get the plane in. You see him on the controls, and we felt a gust of wind, and the pilot was like, fuck it. You heard him say, fuck it. Boom, we went back up. Oh. Go around through like a bad storm, and then we had to land in Birmingham, and the landing at Birmingham was very tough too because the weather was degenerating. Oh. But you had 2 French pilots that were in great shape and didn't say anything, and they were just like AI machines. And you had a Russian flight attendant, and to her, life and death have no meaning. It makes no difference. It's no difference. So she sits, says nothing, no expression on her face, and these 2 pilots. And in that moment, you want the most skilled person for the job. You are not thinking about anything else. You're not thinking about, were they raised rich?
Yeah.
How easy was it for them to go to flight school? Did their parents pay for their flights? All you're thinking about is, God, get this plane on the ground.
Yeah.
And that's where DEI, to me, is the most insane and dangerous, is when you start taking real important jobs and talking about shit no one gives a fuck about.
Yeah.
When you're on a plane like that, you don't give a fuck if it was 2 white pilots, black pilots. I don't give a fuck who it is, as long as they are really good at flying this fucking plane.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's how it's supposed to be with everything. It's just how things go one way, and people recognize it's the wrong way, and then right now that's the overcorrection. The correction is equality. Right?
I had an overweight woman pilot once, and I went, I don't like it. I don't want me in that thing. I don't want to fly, and I didn't want this overweight woman.
Did you say it?
Not to her, but she was like a chubby woman, and she like barely fit in this, and she's like moving the thing, and I'm like, what is happening? Now, we didn't die, but I didn't love that. I want someone in the cockpit who's svelte and in really good shape, and
the right stuff,
and doesn't have a personality. I don't want pilots to have a personality.
Yeah,
pilots should be very similar to machines.
You ever heard Rollins talk about this?
No.
He does those spoken word things. He talks about like, what he wants in a pilot. Like he wants the steel blue eyes.
Yeah.
The right stuff look.
Yeah.
High top crew cut.
Like we've had pilots that are too like friendly, and they're just too like, they come in the back and like talking to you, and you go, I don't want that.
I want military guys.
I want guys that are ex-military or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's really what you really want military guys. That's a great point.
It's a scary job, man. You're piloting a giant metal thing that's flying through the air at ridiculous speeds, and then you have to deal with the wind sometimes.
Yeah, it's scary. Oh. You want people that are just.
Well, there was a push for that in comedy for a while.
Yeah.
In LA, certain clubs would literally have a quota where they have a certain amount of this and a certain amount of that.
Right.
And a lot of people snuck through that shouldn't have been there.
Right.
And one of the things that we set up at the mothership, we said it's just funny.
It's just
doesn't
funny.
matter. And so because of that, it's very diverse. But but just through merit.
Right.
Just through, because there's a bunch of funny people from all walks of life.
Right.
And just find the ones who are good. Doesn't matter where you're from. You have to be good. You have to
work hard.
You got to work hard. You got to be trying to do this thing that we're all doing. And if you're not, if you're trying to derive value, if you're trying to like get attention for something that's unrelated to the art form, and everybody else is doing the art form, that creates a giant problem. And if it's effective, then it's even more of a problem, because then other people start doing it, and then you get clapter.
Man, I had to stop it there. I'm supposed to go to the mothership. Yeah, they have an open mic. I want to start going to the open mics. I'm very scared. I don't want to bump into Joe. I'm very, very, very afraid of bumping into Joe. It's one thing if he doesn't know me. It'd be terrified if he knew me. I'd be terrified. I'd be like, oh no, because he could choke me. You know what I mean? It's not irregular like other people. But I'm very scared, but I'm going to end up going. I got to start hitting the open mics, man. I got to start working on this material, I'm telling you. But when it comes to pilots, I want the whitest guy. They were dancing around it. I want the whitest guy. I want his face to be white. I want his eyes to be blue. I want his hair to be gray. Okay? All right? I'm just saying. Just like JD Van. That's what you want. That's what you want in a pilot. You want JD Vance to walk through the door and say, "Hi, I'm your pilot. How you doing? You guys good? All right. Well, when we tell you to buckle up, make sure you buckle up. All right? And we'll be right as rain." You know what I mean? I want a guy that's that white, that he looks at you and says, "We'll be right as rain." I'll be like, "Oh, thank you, sir. Water, please." Oh gosh. Really glad he came in here. That's it. That's what I want. I'm not shy about it. I'm not shy about it. I want a guy that's as white as my father-in-law, and he's so white. That's what I want. That's what you need. You know what I mean? You don't want a DEI hire to come in and be like, "Hi, I'm Kelsey. It's crazy. I used to be a flight attendant, but 3 months later, I'm a pilot." I'd be like, "Oh!" Clutch my pearls. I'd leave. I wouldn't even get scared. I'd be like, "I'm going. Whatever. Keep the money. Keep the money. It's not worth my life. Keep the money. I don't care. Who cares?" I'm out. But getting into Miss France. This is Miss France, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Listen, ladies. We're going to be having a guy moment here, ladies, okay? This is going to be a very much a guy moment. We're going to be talking like I was talking when I didn't know I was being recorded. You remember that whole thing? The grab 'em by the... We're going to be talking like that, ladies. So you might want to leave. Working on my Trump impression. But this is her, right? I'm just kidding, by the way. We're not going to get too crazy. This is her. She's pretty. She's pretty. Listen, what's the problem? You know, I get it. You catch her like this, you know, she's all hyped up. All right, fine. Okay, that's the runner-up. Okay, hey, listen, should have won, maybe, okay? But that's like a one-off. Maybe that one just messed up. It's not like the other one's a supermodel or any. Okay. I'm just. Okay. 2 supermodels as runner-up. Fine. All right. But here's the thing. I think Joe's right, but also, I mean, the facts are the facts. You know what I mean? I think Joe's right, though. People are pushing a little hard, but I think it's both sides. I think people do push back on the whole DEI woke thing when it's not there, but also I think it's there. I'm just saying, I think it's there. Listen, all three of you, listen, you can't act like she's not pretty. Okay? And listen, I always admit my biases. I'm a little biased, okay? I got a little mixed kid in the other room, all right? I'm just saying. So just know who you're talking to. I'm a little biased when it comes to this whole thing, okay? I'm just putting it out there. But, you know, this is the thing. She's pretty, but also it is that thing of not DEI. You can't call a pageant person DEI. That's not what it is. Because every woman, I mean, we've seen men win these competitions. So, like, everybody can apply and step in and be like, "Oh, this is me." You know what I mean? So, I won't say it's DEI, but it's definitely woke. They definitely made a conscious decision. You know, one of those decisions. I remember working in film and television, and I remember somebody was talking about a movie, and they're like, it's an all-woman MMA movie. And I was like, why? And they're like, it's just time, you know? And that doesn't make sense because it's not time for that. Like who said, like, what kind of watch do you have? I don't have that kind of watch. You know what I mean? It was like 4:20 PM. I don't have the same watch you have, but that's what they say. They go, it's time. And that's what someone probably said they were judges, and they're probably like, it's time. It's time these people are represented because they're the population in France. And that's probably what happened. you know? So it's like Rogan's right about his premise, but it's like he didn't show the runners up. I'm just saying. Okay? All right, that looks like Melania, no? Doesn't that look like Melania? Like a younger version? Kind of does, no? I'm just saying he didn't listen, I'm married. He didn't love my wife. He didn't show these smoke shows. This is crazy. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here, ladies and gentlemen? Anyway. And people are showing pictures like this when they're comparing them. That's not fair. That's not fair. She's happy, obviously. You can't do that. You can't use that picture as a representation of her. Come on, that's not fair. Oh, jeez. She's crying. Stop it. Somebody's like, this is the winner? Come on, you can't do that. She won a beauty thing, right? Like, she's going to do the ugly cry. Everybody has an ugly cry. We all know that. Come on. This one is crazy. Oh my gosh. Come on. Come on. You can't be like, well, this is her and then this is the runner up. You can't do that. That's not fair. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's unfair. That is unfair. But I definitely know what they mean. But that's her when she's like talking. She's just normal. She's pretty. But somebody was probably like, listen, we got 3 pretty girls here. We have an opportunity to represent and blah, blah, blah. And wokety woke. We're going to wokety woke because it's time. Wokety woke. And then they nominated her. That's what happened. And then they gave her
Je suis très fière et j'espère que les Martiniquais sont fiers de moi. Tips pour bien défiler, montre-nous. Eh ouais, ok. Mon tips. Ok. Je me tiens bien droite. J'ai une main comme ça. J'appuie bien sur les hanches. Je balance les hanches et let's go. Et ça part sur le pied droit. Parce que le pied de Miss, c'est le pied droit. Regardez-moi ça. Waouh. Là, il y a une hanche qui est déjà sortie.
I'm just saying. I just never hear French people talk. That's something. You know what I mean? Well, listen, I don't care what preference you got going. Like that, just the talk. The talk alone is like, oh, okay. You guys just get that all day? Lucky guys. Lucky guys. When I'm at Target, I hear, "Hey y'all, what's going on? What you doing here, love? You getting this thing? If you get 3, you get 4. Get them for $4. If you get just the 2, it's gonna be like 6. You want to save some money, hun?" That's what I hear when I go to the store. I love Texas. Though. But aside from Miss France, the other thing that they spoke about was the pilots, was the flight, the aviation industry in general, the airline industry in general. And then this is the last thing. If you get on the plane and you hear this, listen, you're not a bigot, you're not bad, you're not a bad person, but I think it's time to get off the plane.
Pride Month to me means celebrating all the different parts of me that for the longest time society made me feel ashamed of. Hi, I'm Fabiano and yes, I'm gay.
I gotta go. Can I just stand up? No, just I'm just gonna get my bag. It's just right here. I just press the button. It opens up. Okay, yeah, I got it. I gotta go. That's what airlines are turning into.
Hi, I'm Fabiano and yes, I'm gay.
I actually just asked what the meal is for the flight. I mean, it's fine that you are, but I just wanted to know if you guys had fish option. I just wanted to do fish. Can I get an orange juice, please? I was actually just hoping for an orange juice. Excuse me, sir, can I get an orange juice?
Yes, I'm gay.
Okay, I didn't. That's not what I was asking for. I appreciate it, and I like that. I am not, but if you could just get the orange juice, please. It's so weird that we have to know about these things. From teachers to people in this position, it's so odd. You know, I've always lived, you know, I obviously, you know, grew up in the 90s and everything. You just never knew that about people in these positions, in any position, really. You didn't know your teachers. You didn't know the flight attendants. You called them stewardess back then. You're not allowed to do that. You didn't need to know all this about people. And they didn't feel a need to tell you. It wasn't like back then they were bursting at the seams. They're like, oh, I want to tell everybody how gay I am. They weren't doing that. Nobody clip that, please. I realize what I just said. This is a joke. I'm doing a bit here. Don't clip that of me, please. Okay? Anyway, they weren't bursting at the seams. They weren't. They just wanted to work and go home because they didn't like work. Like, what happened to all of us just not liking work and just wanting to do the work and go home? You know what I mean? What happened to you just going into a place and getting your fries or your burger or your radio or whatever? Radio. That's how old I am. Getting whatever and just leaving. You know? Now we got to know everything about everybody. Also, leave the plane if this happens.
Okay, if you don't feel safe, get off the airplane.
This is your captain speaking, okay. But never like this.
I'll stop, and we'll fly the airplane. Don't worry, I'm going to let my co-pilot fly it. He's a man. Okay?
I would have screamed, thank God. I would have screamed it if I was on that plane. Thank God. I would have just been like, is he white? That's what I would have done. That is a real pilot. That is an actual pilot. She's having a meltdown. It's just things like this. And I'm not going to say she's a DEI hire. She's obviously somebody under some kind of wild stress. And in fact, through the rest of this clip, you know.
Total meltdown. The pilot boarded in her street clothes and addressed the passengers over the intercom. Passenger Pam O'Neill couldn't believe what was happening.
She said, let's take a vote. How many of you would like to take off now with me dressed as I am, or would you prefer that I take 10 minutes to get changed into my cute little uniform? Then she said,
nope. Bring me my JD Vance pilot who's been in his uniform since 6 a.m. and the flight doesn't take off until 2. That's who I want on the plane. Just give me that. I don't want anybody that has a cute little outfit. I want JD Vance with a little bit of gray in his beard, and he's flown for 100,000 hours. And when you ask him how he is, he goes like this. That's it. That's all he does. And then when he lands the plane, he goes, thanks, guys. And that's it. That's it. And we all applaud like back in the day. You remember when we used to applaud when a pilot would land a plane? That's how old I am. Used to clap. Used to be like, what? Look at this guy. This guy didn't kill us. This is amazing. Used to always do that. This is another instance where this guy's actually great, you know. But the last story I'm going to show you after this, that is the DEI calamity of the century.
The aircraft is being observed, so to speak, because oil pressure on the number 2 engine is trending upwards, and the aircraft is going to require, actually it's the fuel pressure, fuel system filter replacement when the aircraft gets back from Hawaii. They've told us that the plane's good to go, but I'm not really feeling it. I'm not going to leave the ground if I'm not completely certain that we have an airworthy aircraft, so I'm going to probably err on the side of caution, and I'm refusing the aircraft. So what that means for you right now, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if we have another airplane here at the airport, but I hate to do this to you, but this is one of those tough calls that I have to make, and I feel a lot more comfortable making this call than flying 6 hours over the water and maybe having an issue. Anyway, that's where things stand now. I apologize for that. Your morning hasn't been so good. We do appreciate your patience, though. We're going to have everybody deplane the aircraft.
That guy deserves an award. I know people were probably mad as all get out, but still, that's how you're supposed to do it. That's the kind of guy you want on the plane. And actually, this situation occurred because there was DEI on the other side of things. The people who were the inspectors, there you go. The inspectors of the plane, they were inexperienced. This guy was more experienced than them. He knows what to look out for. So he decided, you know what? Because you know why? You know why he did that, right? Here, let me show you why. Let me show you why real quick. This is exactly why he did that. 100%. This is why he did that. Because the inspector came up to him and he was like, "Hello, did you inspect the plane? How did it go?" And the guy just replied like this.
Yes, I'm gay.
And he was like, no, I'm not feeling comfortable. He was like, I don't feel comfortable. I'm just not feeling it. But kudos to that guy, seriously, because that guy is nothing like the guy you're about to hear about right now.
Alaska was born in 1974 in the tiny Caribbean nation of Antigua, and by every account, he was an outstanding person. Conrad was the leader of the family, said his brother. We all looked up to him. Aska was certainly a man of deep religious faith, and we know that because his final words in the second before his death were, quote, "Lord, you now have my soul." Imagine saying that as your final sentence. But his death is a scandal. The reason he died is a scandal, and many in the aviation industry know about it, but it is never mentioned in public. So we thought we would tell you because there are lessons in his death for all of us who travel commercially. In February of 2019, Aska was the first officer piloting an Amazon Prime cargo jet for a contractor called Atlas Air. They were flying a Boeing 767. As it approached Houston Airport, Aska assumed full control of the plane. Seconds later, while attempting to apply the speed brakes to land, Aska accidentally pressed a switch that put the plane into go-around mode, and that gave the plane an unexpected jolt of thrust. In response to this unexpected jolt, Aska panicked. Instead of checking his instruments to figure out what was going on, he pushed down hard on the control yoke. He pushed as hard as he could, and then the plane nosedived through the clouds and right into the water. The plane was obliterated on impact. It killed him, his co-pilot, and another pilot who was just hitching a ride. So it was obvious from those facts alone that Conrad Aska, decent man though he was, should not have been in control of an airplane. And his personnel records confirm that strongly. Before he started flying 767s for Amazon and Atlas Air, he had been a pilot for 7 different airlines, including Mesa Airlines. Several instructors at Mesa reported that Aska was often overwhelmed in the cockpit, as he was on the day he died. One pilot later told the NTSB that in emergencies, Aska, quote, became extremely anxious and would start pushing a lot of buttons without thinking about what he was pushing, just to be doing something. To be clear, for a pilot, that can be deadly, and it was. Atlas Air says it was not aware of any of this when it hired Aska. But once he arrived at Atlas Air, Aska was so deficient in the simulator that all pilots have to train on that the company had to restart simulator training just for him. All of his other classmates had graduated.
That is what you do not want in a pilot. Okay? And I just got to say, Aska, I believe he said his name is. Condolences to that man. And it is very, very sad what happened. Okay? I'm going to make a joke. I'm going to do that, I know. I already said sorry. I already said condolences. I said it already. But could you imagine you're on a plane and you just hear from the front of the plane, "You have my soul now." Like, what? Oh, who said that? Who said that? Tell me that was someone in first class who said that. Who just said that? "You have my soul now, my Lord. Jesus Christ." Oh my God. Is that the captain? Oh gosh. I had to make the joke. Listen. The thing about comedy is when it comes to your head, you got to say it. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay? But that is crazy. And listen, it's not because, you're seeing black people now. I'm joking about, white pilots and stuff. The whole thing with DEI, it's not the problem that they're black. It's not the problem that they're young or they're very old or their preferences, outside of work completely. None of that is what actually matters when it comes to DEI. The problem is they take the most inexperienced people and put them in positions that require massive amounts of experience. Kamala Harris is a great example of that. Not even her running for president, her in vice president. You know, Joe Biden was like, I'm going to get a woman of color. That's it. He said that. I know he did. I remember he was on a Zoom call with somebody and he said, I'm going to make sure that it's a woman and it's going to be a woman of color. He had no idea who it was going to be. So when she got chosen based on that, first and foremost. That's terrible. That gentleman Tucker was just talking about, it has nothing to do with the fact that he's black. It has to do with the fact that when he's in front of a plane, or when he was, rest in peace, when he was nervous on a plane, he would press buttons just so he could be doing something. That's the problem. You know? That's the real problem. That in all these positions, you know, it's not a problem that Miss France is black. That's not the problem. The problem is that there's people who are getting hyper focused on race and choosing her solely because she's black. And that's, I don't know the judges per se, but that's the speculation of what happened. And we're speculating that because I don't know. To each their own, you know? But that's the main issue when it comes to these things. And when it happens in a beauty pageant, I don't care so much. I think to myself, but I don't care so much. But when it happens on a plane, it's like, when it happens with a doctor, it's just the fact that when it starts in the beauty pageants, and it's a mindset, it's an ideology, it spreads everywhere. And they start doing it in every facet, right up to a person running for president, picking their vice president based on that. And I mean, even going back to Obama, yes, he spoke very well, but a lot of people chose him solely because of the color of his skin. That is so off track from where we're supposed to be. Yeah, so off track from the content of character. It's crazy. You know, I have one story I'll tell, and this was recent. You know, just going back to Joe's point, you know, I'm making both points here. You know, Joe makes a good point of when he says some people just push on it even when it's not there. On this show, I bring my friend Hank, who is literally like my brother. I had a small wedding. It was him and one other person. That's it. It was him and my brother-in-law. My wife, me. That's it. That was the wedding. This guy's like a family member to me, right? Do anything for that guy. I make a joke about when he told me how bad Obama was. I didn't understand because I didn't understand politics. I didn't know about rules for radicals. I didn't know about all this stuff. I didn't know a tremendous amount about Marxism. I knew a little bit, you know? So when he told me that, I make the joke on this show. I'm like, is my friend racist? Like, that's what I was thinking when he said that. And how many people in the comments became those people that Joe was talking about. They started pushing back on something that wasn't there. I've known the guy for 20 years. He's my friend. He's on my show. And I'm helping him get started in YouTube. But people are still like, oh, that's racist. Some people were like, I actually switched off once I heard you say that racist thing. It's like you're doing the blue hair thing. You got to be careful when you start sounding like the blue-haired people, right? Because the problem with the whole Miss France thing is like, why are these judges just focused on race? Why are they going towards one race and not another? That's the big problem, right? Well, what? And the problem with woke is that they get hyper focused on race. They get hyper focused on woke ideology. You know what I mean? They get hyper focused on race. They get hyper focused on gender. They get hyper focused on any barrier that they can find that divides people, puts people in boxes. They get hyper focused on that. But you have to watch out as someone who's conservative, because most of my audience is. I'm sure there's some left-wing people. I'm sure there are. Maybe. I don't know. But you got to make sure that you don't turn into one of those woke people in an effort to push back on the woke people. You don't want to be like the Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers had to become like the Comanche. You don't have to become like the blue-haired people. So make sure that you steer clear from that. And that you're still people who are like we've always been. The times that we want to go back to when people knew what a joke was. They understood that people are just joking. They understood people aren't serious. They see a comedian get canceled and it's like, come on, he was telling a joke. So I noticed that when that happened, there was a bunch of people who were like, you're being racist. That's a racist thing to say. I'm like, what? Who let the blue-haired people on my account? Hey, your hair brown? Go dye it blue. Hey, you got a nose ring? No? Go get two. I need to be able to tell who you are. But I just wanted to say that. It was a very interesting thing that I noticed. So I have seen people push back a little bit on things that actually aren't there, you know? And you don't want to become like that, you know? You know what I mean? Anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here. This has been a long episode. I'm trying to shorten them a little bit. I've been getting up to like an hour with my episodes. I'm trying to bring it back down, you know? Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. It helps the channel tremendously. And other than that, I'm out.